So what we've got in front of us today is a very exciting bottle from the Benromach distillery up in the Speysider region of Scotland. It is the Cask No.1, so it's a...
Oh, wow.
Indeed, yes. It's a bottle that they released a couple of years ago. It's distilled in 1998, bottled in 2018, as I said, from Cask No.1 at the distillery. It's a part of their 20th anniversary celebration, as I said, in 2018, to commemorate 20 continuous years of distillation at the distillery.
It's a single cask bottling?
Indeed.
Yep.
Yes,
Great.
I believe...
I haven't tasted this. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I believe it's first fill sherry as well.
It looks a bit like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, the colour tends to give something away.
And the owners, Gordon MacLean, of course, have huge resources of old sherry butts and things to play with. Is that the 500? Is that 575 bottles?
Yes, so 575 bottles are made.
So it's definitely a butt. Yeah. Great. Well, open away.
Excellent.
Yes, Gordon and MacPhail, viewers will, I'm sure, know, is the most significant independent bottler. They were a family company, established in the 1890s, and they have been filling casks since about 1900. And so they've got a huge number. They're the only company that have got significant numbers, nobody knows how many, but of wartime or slightly pre-war casks under maturation. And significantly, of course, the George Urquhart, who is the father and grandfather of the current directors, he began a program of bottling some of these as single malts in about 1968, off the top of my head, which was way before single malt was generally known. And so he made these whiskies available for the first time, not only in the UK, but he did a lot of work in Italy and in France and in the Netherlands. And effectively put single malt, I've had described him, and I think of him as the father of single malt whiskey. Italy rapidly became the leading country in the world for single malt. By the 70s and 80s, it was leading the way. So they're a great company, they really are. And they've got some fantastic whiskies. It'll be fascinating to taste this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. This will be part of their pioneering tradition, I suppose. So it'll be interesting to try.
It will be. Right, listen, pour away.
Let's crack it open and see what...
Fancy bottle as well, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? It'll stand out on anyone's shelf.
Great. And the strength, Kieran, do we know that?
I believe this is 60.1%. So
it's natural strength. And so what's the age of it?
It'll be 20 years. It was distilled in 1998, bottled in 2018. But it doesn't exactly say 20-year-old on the bottle or any of the material, so could be a little bit either side.
Aye. Well, it's got a good colour, as we can see in the bottle. It's interesting, we all talk about sort of sherry casks and bourbon casks, which is something of a misnomer, because the many sherry casks, indeed, Michael Urquhart told me, I was doing some work for them, that the transport casks for sherry were actually made from American oak until sometime, would depend from sherry company to company or shipper to shipper. And then they went over to European oak. And so we tend to think of ex-sherry as being European oak, which is much more tannic and much drier in the mouth. And the colour of this, well, we'll find out when we nose it, I hope, and taste it, that I wouldn't be surprised if this is an American oak ex-sherry butt, but we'll see.
We'll find out, I'm sure.
It's got a sweet, it's quite prickly, isn't it, with that strength?
Yeah, definitely. But there is a nice sort of sweetness cutting through.
There is. Right. There's a slight cereal note.
I'm getting a slight honeyness.
Yes, honey. Yeah, it does need. It needs some water. Yep. Honey, and it's a sort of floral honey, honeysuckle. Maybe fruity notes. Cereal, yes, but light. It's like sugar puffs. It's sort of
Anyway, that'll be a first for Scotch whisky. Yeah.
Very nice indeed.
Yeah, it's very appealing. It's, as you said, it's not too sweet. That sort of.
Well, we'll see what it's like in the mouth, but make a good breakfast whisky, certainly on the on the nose.
Cheers.
Nice texture, sweet but not cloying. The cereal note comes through on the taste back. Quite spicy at the back.
Yeah, I think particularly, as you swallow and on the finish, it sort of prickles a wee bit on the way down. Just, of course, the strength. It's not an indictment on the whisky.
Yeah. Nicely balanced.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I quite like from the Benromach that I have tried is that they don't necessarily pull too much in one direction. They're not too sweet. They're not too dry. They're not. I know they do peated variations, but they're not too intense either. It's just very nice, sort of well-rounded in a way.
The one thing I'm particularly impressed about here is the texture, the mouthfeel. I would hazard a guess that they were using Golden Promise barley. I think when Benromach went into production, they did a number of experiments with different barley varieties. Indeed, I was shown some of the experimental distillations, New Mix Spirit, by Michael Eckert, or one of his brothers, at the distillery, and it was very interesting, because the industry, as you will know, Kieran, is they say that the barley variety doesn't make any difference at all. But I tell you what, I tasted, the Prisma, Chariot, Ducado, or whatever the usual ones were then, but also GP, Golden Promise, and it was chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
It had this rich thickness to it, and that's what makes me think that this might have been made with Golden Promise. And interesting enough, some of the new distilleries, in trying to make their product different, are specifying Golden Promise. The farmers hate it because they get a low yield on the ground, and it's prone to disease and what have you, but it does make a difference.
If it makes a great whisky, then it's worthwhile, I'd say.
Yeah. Right, let's put a wee drop of water in.
Of course. Thank you.
That honey comes back in the aftertaste, A little touch of vanilla now, which again makes me think that it may be American oak.
Yeah, it's a sort of trademark quality, isn't it, of those casks?
It reminds me of those the little biscuits with something creams.
Custard creams. Custard creams. Yeah.
Custard creams. That's it, and because it's like vanilla custard, but and the little bit of biscuit.
This is the ideal whisky to have alongside a cup of tea.
So we've got it breakfast and tea. Lovely, soft, mouth-filling, sweet-ish, spicy, and the coconut recurs. So this is again all indicating American oak.
Yeah, I'm amazed that even adding water, it still maintains that delightful mouthfeel. It's still, I wouldn't go as far as oily, but it does coat your mouth. It's really, really nice. Yeah, and it maintains the finish as well. It's still that sort of lingering spiciness to it.
But it softens it down a wee bit.
Definitely.
Great. Very good indeed. Well done, G&M.
Yeah, here's to 20 more years.
Indeed.